Hi there. Welcome to Arts Focus. My name is J.J. Musgrove. I'm the Director for the Office of Cultural Affairs for the City of Columbia. And this is a monthly arts program where we interview various executive and artistic directors for our various arts and culture organizations within our community. And today we are very lucky to be joined by Grundy.
Hi.
Who is the Executive Director for the Missouri Contemporary Ballet. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Your organization has been in existence now for 10 years.
We are in our 10th season, yes.
That is fantastic. Tell us about how it came about to have a Missouri Contemporary Ballet and some of its growth that you've seen throughout these 10 years.
Well, 10 years ago, I was the artistic director for a different company that closed, and I was given the opportunity to kind of take over a former 501c that was still in good standing, and we just had to do a name change in order for me to become Missouri Contemporary Ballet. I had dancers from the former company still in town that were willing to somehow stay with me, and the Missouri Theater at that time was doing their changeover to the Missouri Theater Center for the Arts. They asked us to be the resident company, so sort of was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do right now. Yeah. And so I felt like Columbia was ready for a dance, professional dance company, and so I guess they were.
Well, good. Hopefully people are showing up, so yeah. They are ready for this. You talked about it as far as that you have professional dancers. That's important as far as the whole mission of your particular company. What is the selection process? How do you identify and get such good quality dancers that you have?
So we have open auditions. They either will come to our full open audition, or they come and take a company class and we give them reps. Last year we auditioned in Kansas City and St. Louis as well. So every year we have a bigger and a better caliber of dancer, and so in that way we're able to grow the company and really show the growth of what we are artistically as a dance company.
I see, I've been going to your programs, I see that you choreograph some of the work. You have guest choreographers that are coming in as well, of course. Can you talk a little bit about the process as far as identifying your guest choreographers?
A lot of times my dancers will suggest different choreographers because they want to work with them, they think they might be good, and so I do accept submissions of videos and from different choreographers, and through that, going through that process and looking over DVDs and all of that is basically how I come up with what I feel like is a right fit for Missouri Contemporary Ballet and what I feel like will be a nice challenge for my dancers.
Okay. What is it about in your particular own choreography? Let's talk artistic here a little bit if we could.
Okay.
But what about in your own choreography? What excites you as far as the themes that you like to explore with music or with body form or anything like that?
I'm kind of all over the board, being from Las Vegas and having danced in Vegas, and not only in productions but also in companies. So I have a very diverse, whoops, I hit my mic. Diverse array of styles, and that's what I feel like is a little unique as far as what I give. Because I sometimes say, okay, this is the Vegas coming out, and but we kind of keep that, but then I bring in just a completely contemporary ballet aspect, which is a little bit more softer, and it's really all over the board. It just depends on how I'm feeling and maybe a story that's out there, and then I find the music, or vice versa.
What's your favorite piece in the last year that you've done?
In the last year?
Yeah, or a couple of years.
I really loved a piece I did last year, which was called 9 Gigs, and it was about how we are all addicted to our cell phones or computer screens or television screens or whatever. So it was kind of edgy in a way, and as far as music goes, and I'm not going to say hip-hoppy because it wasn't hip-hoppy, but anyway, it was just a little just a different genre. It was still on point, though. Okay.
Well, good. You talked about or you mentioned it about this collaboration now with Missouri Theater, and I don't think maybe a lot of people know about that. Can you talk a little bit about that arrangement and what's happened here?
So we are finally a part of the University Concert Series, and that's obviously really exciting. We've been in talks for the past few years, and so this year they finally came to me and said, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, yes, I am." So what does it mean? It just means it helps us financially a lot, and which then is enabling me to pay my dancers a little bit more. And I think that was really exciting for me to be able to say, "Oh my gosh, I can start paying them." Still not what they're worth, but a little bit more than what we've been able to pay them.
Sure, yeah. And so we have 10th anniversary. You have a performance that's coming up very soon. Talk to us about that.
November 13th and 14th at the Missouri Theater, and it is called Poised in Flux. And it is, we kind of came up with the title. It was myself and my president of the board, who is a psychologist. I don't know why I chose him to help me come up with the name, but, but that's what happened. And so we just kind of took that thought of, we're in our 10th season, kind of in a poised place, but we're still in motion, we're still moving forward, and so that's where the influx came from.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fascinating.
So it's a rep show. It's got three pieces by myself, one piece which is 10 years old that I choreographed on our first
but brought
season,
it back for the anniversary in general. Okay.
Another piece is actually premiered 6 years ago on November 13th. So, and that's a collaboration with our local artist Valerie Weedle. She's an installation artist, and there's projection and all of this. It's pretty cool. And then I choreographed a new piece, and then my new resident choreographer Joel Hathaway choreographed a piece kind of about how people feel ostracized. Then the final piece is a piece by a choreographer, Laurie Sefton, who's the director of Claire Obscure Dance Company in Los Angeles. And it is about the drought in Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a really eclectic
and
very
wonderful eclectic
show. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. It'll be wonderful. In the short amount of time that we have left, Missouri Contemporary Ballet also does a variety of programs, and so just kind of list those as far as what you all do.
Well, we do lecture demonstrations within schools and or in studio, which is basically bringing kids or seniors or into the day of the life of a professional dancer.
Oh, okay.
We also have an outreach program with the Boys and Girls Club called Dance Reach, and these kids get to take a ballet class once a week with my dancers, and they also get to perform either in our spring show or in Dancing with Missouri Stars. And our last one is Danceability, which is working with kids with special needs.
Oh, wonderful. All right. How do people find out more about Missouri Contemporary Ballet? Final pitch.
You can visit us at MissouriContemporaryBallet.com. That's the easiest way. You can also like us or like our Facebook page, or you can call us at 573-219-7134.
Great, and we're going to put all that on the screen and everything like that, so it's wonderful. And once again, Poised in Flux, November 13th and 14th at the Missouri Theater. Karen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we shall be back with more Arts Focus.
Our next guest is Elizabeth Broughton Palmieri, who is the co-founder and artistic director of Greenhouse Theater Project.
Yay!
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
For people who might not be completely familiar with your organization, kind of give us an overview of its origins and kind of what it's come to be. I guess you're going into your 5th season.
We're going into our 5th season.
Yeah.
Can you even believe it?
I know. It seems like just yesterday.
I know. We're still a baby, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when it really comes to things. Greenhouse is a 501c3 nonprofit professional experimental theater company based right here in Columbia, Missouri. It was founded a few years ago by my co-founder and co-artistic director, Emily Adams. She and I had moved to Columbia both for our husbands' jobs, and we were professional actors and found ourselves in the middle of the heartland, figuring out what we were going to do, why we were here exactly, knowing that there had been some meaning behind it all. And fortunately, what we had figured out was Columbia was in need of a theater company that was you know, professional, but also filling kind of a risk-taking, edgy gap. And so there was, you know, academic theater, and there's great community theaters and children's theaters, but there wasn't really a place for the work that Emily and I really wanted to do and be a part of. And so we decided to just make it, create it. And so yeah, Greenhouse was born, and our motto is innovative theater in unexpected places, and that is because we are site specific, which means we don't perform in a traditional theater space, and we don't have our own venue. We have a rehearsal space, but we work out of different spaces, as you know. We have performed in art galleries like Sager Broadus and Orr Street Studios, and on rooftops, and in yoga studios like Yoga Soul. A lot of really cool, innovative spaces for us, which pose challenges, but also offer up so much in the way of creativity for what we do, because we don't come in and build a set per se. We use what's there, and that's kind of what creates a character in our pieces.
How do you go about, I mean, you're obviously very well connected in the community, so do a lot of these places approach you, or do you have to seek out new places that you're kind of interested in?
Yeah, it's a little of both. I mean, early on, it was Emily and I kind of begging people like, hey, this is what we do, give us a chance, you know, and Diana Moxon at the Columbia Art League was the first person who welcomed us in, and we did a 3-person version of A Christmas Carol there, and it was kind of a taste of like what our work was, very fast-paced, very physical, storytelling based in storytelling. And so yeah, and then from there on, collaboration just kind of came to be, and people would come to us and want us to highlight their spaces. Our audiences are oftentimes going into spaces that they've never been in before, and therefore they're like, oh, I'm going to come back and take a yoga class here, or you know, come to the art opening here, or whatever. And so it's been a really great collaboration that we've loved. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your upcoming season, and some of the places you'll be, and some of the productions that we can expect to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we have a really exciting season. We're just coming off returning from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, where we performed, and which was extremely exciting. We saw, you know, so much work that we really needed to kind of feed our creative souls to come back and keep doing the work that we do here. So this year, our first show is Big Love. It's by Charles Mee. He's a great creative weirdo who takes Greek tragedies and modernizes them and kind of funks them up, and that's what Greenhouse loves, you know. And so we have a great soundtrack. It's like a punk soundtrack, and the costumes are going to be really cool. And we're actually performing. We're collaborating with Cat TV, and we're performing in Studio B, so the other studio here. On Stevens campus, and we did a show here a couple of years ago, so we're really excited to be back in this space. And then, and we have a great addition to our company coming into town for that. Anna Sundberg is going to co-direct and also be in the piece, and she came here to do Our Town with us last year. And then our next piece is going to be an immersive theater piece. It's my take on Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. It's just called Measure, and the audience will be on their feet for this piece. They will be moving, traversing through a space, and that space I cannot tell you yet because it is TBD. I know, I like to be a little mysterious about this, but that's going to be a really exciting piece. We're really looking forward to that, just something different for our audience and for us as a company. The last piece of the season is an original that I'm working on currently called To the Sea, and that will be in collaboration with Imago Gallery downtown, which if you've been in there, it's just a beautiful space, a lot of exposed brick, white walls. It's going to be a multimedia piece, so I'm working with a filmmaker, and yeah, there's just, it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking for, and we have a guest artist for that piece too, who is a woman from Brooklyn who I saw perform in a piece with a theater troupe that was actually biking their show through town this summer. They were coming from Oakland on their way to New York, and they stopped here because they knew someone here performed, and I saw this one performer, and I was like, I would like you to come and join our company. So she's coming to do. And something else that's really exciting is we are collaborating on a kind of a hush-hush piece with True False this year that will go on during the festival.
Okay, so people can expect to see you there as well.
Yeah.
So when is the when is Big Love opening? That's
Big Love
Newest.
opens, it runs December 9th through the 13th.
Great.
And then the True False piece is at the beginning of March, and then Measure is the beginning of April, and then the final piece, To the Sea, is the beginning of June, the first week of June.
And people can stay tuned by going to your website.
Go to our website. It's www.greenhousetp.org. We have a Facebook.
Yeah, all the social
we have
media.
Instagram. We have Twitter. It's like
Great.
too much. But
Yeah.
we also have a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, tell us about the fundraiser.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a true nonprofit without a fundraiser. So that's kind of what I've, it's kind of what I feel like I've mastered. Well, no, I shouldn't even say that. I haven't mastered it, but I feel like it was something that was so terrifying to me, and now I'm like, it's part of the whole thing. So we like to have fun though with our fundraisers. We put the fun in fundraiser. Yeah, you've been to our fundraisers.
They're great.
So we like to call it a party. But yeah, this Saturday, actually it's November 7th at the historic Hartsburg Grand Theater in Hartsburg, which is this newly renovated, really cool space. We're having what's called Rock the Greenhouse, and you pay $25 for your ticket. You get all the food and booze and live entertainment and our first raffle ticket, because we have a raffle and a silent auction. And the Flood Brothers are playing, and it's just going to be a great time.
Great.
So,
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, events and secrets.
So much
special
secrets.
Collaborations.
Pop-ups. We always have the
that
secret
are
pop-ups that
happening.
are going to continue to happen.
So people can just keep tuned, liking Facebook and visiting your website and staying up to date on everything that you have to offer. We're really excited to see this season. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us on Arts Focus.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with our last guest.
Hi, and welcome back to Arts Focus. I'm sitting in for Sarah Dresser. My name is JJ Musgrove, the director of the OCA, and with me now, our final guest for this particular episode is Kathleen Johnson. Kathleen is the co-artistic director for PACE, and if you don't know what PACE is, it's a wonderful, wonderful children's theater and education organization here in town. It stands for Performing Arts and Children's Education. I always make sure I read that so I don't put in some weird A there or something like that.
Great.
Kathleen, first of all, welcome to Columbia.
Thank you.
I know that you are new here.
Yes.
And that you're new to PACE, you're new to Columbia. Tell us a little bit about your background and how did you find your way to PACE, and then we can get into PACE a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background has been in theater since I was in first grade and had too much energy and was told, go do something with it. And then as I went to the University of Notre Dame and I did theater there and then got into the education program. And so I not only have a background in theater, but then my master's is in education. And so I've been working since getting that as not only a teacher, but then also working in coaching students and teaching theater classes and improv. And for the past 4 years, I've been in Minnesota teaching and working with kids up there. And then my husband got a job in Columbia, and that's what brought us here.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Were you in Minnesota? Were you at Climb Theater in Minnesota by any chance?
No,
Okay.
no, I was
All right.
teaching full time when I was in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I taught at Apple Valley High School and coached and then did a little acting and teaching when I was there.
Well,
so.
that's wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, it's great to have a new artist come to town here,
thank
and
you.
welcome to a funky artistic town. You
No,
know, we
it's
like our
great.
place. We
It's
really do.
great.
Well, tell us about PACE and what is it that drew you to that? Obviously, you have that
Yeah.
background there. And then how did you become to assume the role of co-artistic director with them?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of theater that's happening in Columbia, a lot of performing arts that's happening here. And so it wasn't hard for me to kind of start navigating that realm when I found out that we were going to be moving here. But given the emphasis, at least in my life, that's always kind of drawn me towards education, I looked primarily at children's theaters. And PACE stood out right away to me as one that really put the emphasis on the educational process with children. And that to me, I think, is really the tricky thing about children's theater or theater for young audiences. I think oftentimes we think if we're gonna bring kids into it and make it an educational process, then we sacrifice levels of artistic quality because of it. And what I kind of see as the really fun challenge of working with kids is how can we enhance the integrity of a performance by bringing kids in. I think sometimes you get even more authenticity out of a production when you have fresh eyes and faces and people that haven't been through kind of some of the experiences that adult actors have been through. And so I think that that can bring a fresh quality to theater. And so that's what drew me to PACE initially. And I got in contact with Angela last winter when I found out that I was going to be moving here. And she and I were talking about classes and different ways that I could kind of bring in my expertise with the organization. And the more we worked together and the more we spoke and met over the summer, we co-directed our production of Seussical, and it just seemed like a really wonderful fit. And so she was looking to kind of bring someone else in with her to help really grow and expand the organization. And I was happy to
fill that role for her, so to speak. So that's great.
Yeah.
What type of educational opportunities are you offering your students now that are involved in your PACE program?
Sure, we have lots of different classes. This semester alone, I think we're offering 14 classes.
Wow.
And we go between dance classes and strictly theater classes, and then also some musical theater that we offer. So within the dance realm and that kind of like creative movement, we start as young as 2.5 with kids, kind of offering a short opportunity for the little ones to get in and just start kind of experimenting through play. And then our dance classes and theater classes go up beyond that. So we offer, you know, things like advanced combo and tap and hip hop and cheerleading. And then on the theater side of it, we offer a wide range of classes. Some of them are production-based classes, so students can enroll and then work over the course, not only developing skills, but also work towards an actual production at the end of it. And then we have basic acting classes for students, some improv classes, and then musical theater, where we can bring students in kind of a triple threat idea, where they learn a little bit of dance, a little bit of theater, and a little bit of music. And then this semester, we're offering a wonderful class for adults in Meisner technique. So we're trying to kind of expand a little bit of the offerings. That was an opportunity that kind of just came up, and we wanted to bring it in. So we're always looking for ways that we can expand the opportunities available to.
Who's teaching the Meisner workshop? Are you or?
No, I'm not. No, it's a special guest artist that's coming in. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Go Meisner. Well, you either. Sorry.
I know.
This is theater person talk. You either love Meisner or you hate Meisner. It's just one of those things, you know, that type of deal.
Right. Exactly.
And I've heard both sides. It's amazing. We got very artistic there. It's like just both sides are horrible.
Right?
Yeah, so the idea of your students now, you know, so you start at 2.5 and then go all the way through high school.
Yeah.
And they have production opportunities.
Yes.
And so you have students that are high school juniors or seniors, let's say, that may be, you know, directing shows and designing shows and things like that. How's that mentor process happen?
It's very important for us to get students involved in all areas of it. So it's not that we are a program without adults a part of it. In fact, with some of the productions, we actually bring in adult actors who can kind of help be that mentor. So students are able to participate not only in the acting portion of things, but we bring students in to help do props for us, to help with the costume selection and creation. Even students who are a part of those production classes will help with various elements of building the set so that they can kind of experience all of the different aspects. A lot of students might get involved with theater and think it's just about acting, and a number of students that come to us find that they, you know, love the theater world, but would really much rather sit on the outskirts and be a part of the creation.
Right.
So
actually have a job in theater that way. Yes,
and
that's
the wonderful
good.
thing I found about PACE is that a lot of our students who then, when they go off to college and even after, will come back, and our alumni will come in who are working artists, then come back in and help work and kind of pass that on to the students. So we're happy to hire them to come back in.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So,
well, that's fantastic. One of my I think a great success story is a young man. I won't say his name just because I don't have permission to do it, but he wouldn't care. But he went through the PACE program. He eventually became a director, a young student director, and then later on he directed a show at Columbia Entertainment Company. It was the first show that personally I auditioned for, and so I had an opportunity to work with him, and he was when I first auditioned for this 19-year-old kid, I thought, oh wow, what do we do? Yeah, exactly. This is a bad idea.
Right.
And then just seeing that the training that he had in communicating and in directing was impressive, outside of a formal training, you know. So, but what he had there was a really nice foundation. And here was an individual that was not going to go on in their theater career whatsoever. He's going to go on and be an environmentalist or
Right.
whatever, but this was always going to be an avocation of him, and I think that's what PACE can do for people too.
It is. I mean, there's no doubt that communication is the #1 skill that
Yeah.
people are looking for, and I think that the goal for PACE is not to bring in children and make them the next, Broadway star.
Right.
If that happens, great. We love that, but really to help every child feel like they have the capacity to stand up and speak what they believe and speak it with a sense of confidence. And I
Well,
think that's the cool thing theater offers.
Oh,
So,
exactly. And those
Yeah.
skills last forever, as we know
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
If people want to find out more about PACE, since we're going to wrap up here,
Yeah.
tell us the spiel.
Yeah, so pacecolumbia.com is where you're going to find all of the information. We have some great shows coming up. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is happening in December. And then on November 13th, Friday the 13th, we're doing a really fun fundraiser, which is going to be a murder mystery dinner theater interactive thing. So if you can come to our events, come there, or check out on the website where you can get tickets and find out more about our organization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. The best way that you can support arts and culture organizations in our community is by showing up, and that
Yes.
would be wonderful. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you to CAT TV and to the Office of Cultural Affairs for City of Columbia. This was Arts Focus, and we'll see you next month.